It's time for the RMAC Radio Show, featuring all the latest information from around the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference. The RMAC is a proud member of NCAA Division II. Now, here's your host, Eric Danner.
Welcome to the RMAC Radio Show, our first episode of the 2011-2012 season. My name is Eric Danner, and we are on location for this first segment at New Mexico Highlands University in Las Vegas, New Mexico. We're talking football, and they have a brand new head coach here, Eric Young. Welcome to the RMAC Radio Show, Coach. As we talk to you, it's still in training camp here, but I would think that you're happy with some of the results you've seen so far.
Absolutely. Obviously, the biggest thing we're seeing right now is how recruiting went. You know, we had a big challenge as we took over the program to get to the talent level to where it needed to be. We obviously had a few individual guys that were able to shine last season, but one of our big goals was to make sure that the overall talent level came to where it needed to be. And so what is exciting about camp is seeing those guys for yesterday for the first time in pads and getting an idea of what we really have to work with. So, you know, there's no place I'd rather be right now than out on the field.
You come to New Mexico Highlands from the College of Siskiyou in California, and you're not a Highlands person per se, as you didn't go to school here, you haven't coached here, brand new to the program, and maybe that's a good thing.
Well, you know, obviously I got to thank the guys that hired me. It's a great opportunity, and we're hoping that a fresh view to things. You know, one of the things we've focused on a little bit is bringing back some of the tradition, the history. There's been a couple of reunions this year, some of the old championship teams that come back into town, and we're obviously continuing to work on developing those relationships with our alumni and so forth, because I'm not a Highlands guy. I came from a background that I didn't really even know where this place was initially. Some people turned me on to the opportunity out here, and we're definitely excited about it. But every day that goes by, you know, I'm getting more and more purple in my blood. We're getting excited about what's going on, and we've had the coaches from the past, the players from the past. You know, we've got a great tradition here of guys that have gone on to the NFL, both as players and coaches, and trying to get those guys around the program as much as possible to make sure that yeah, I'm coming in fresh, my coaches are coming in fresh, but make sure we're truly building off the tradition of this program.
Looking at your resume, you have the head coaching experience. You also had a stint at Cal as one of their strength coaches there, and you had an opportunity to work with some of the top players in the NFL when you were at Cal.
I've been very fortunate. You know, it's one of those things that as doors have opened in my career and opportunities, you know, I had a chance to work at Oregon, a chance to work at Cal, and some of those top institutions, those places that are winning a lot of football games. And certainly when you get a chance to sneak into some of those meetings and be part of those programs, you're going to run into a lot of great players. So I've been very fortunate to see guys that can compete at the top level and get an opportunity to work with those guys and understand what drives them and what allows them to be successful. So hopefully watching those guys over the years, I can't take credit for any of them, but I've certainly taken some notes about the way they do things, and hopefully that's something we can pass down to the players here at Highlands.
Well, for people around the RMAC who aren't familiar with the Cal football program, Aaron Rodgers, Nandi Asamoah, I got to think Marshawn Lynch, Deshaun Jackson. I mean, they've had some great players over the years.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's something that, again, talent makes us all better coaches. So that's one of the things, if nothing else, that we've taken out of that equation is making sure that when we get on the recruiting trail that we're getting guys that can play. And that helps us all out. We're always a smarter coach when we hand it to a guy that's faster than everybody else.
Now, coming into Highlands, you inherit an offense that really struggled last year, only 6 touchdown passes, only 818 yards rushing, but a receiver who is one of the best in the RMAC.
Absolutely, you know, and one of the first things I did when I got here, after meeting with the coaches that were on staff and working in that direction to make sure that we had a coaching staff that was on the same page, was sit down with Kayvon. And Kayvon is absolutely a leader for us. He clearly was the one guy we had coming back that was an all-conference, you know, selection last year. But he absolutely deserves that. He is definitely one of the top athletes we have out here. He's one of the top competitors, and he has done a tremendous job of buying into the change, if you will, and doing everything we've asked him to do through the spring ball, through the off-season program. He was here all summer long. He's a leader for us. He's kind of a soft-spoken guy. He doesn't say a whole lot, but at the same time, the way that he competes is absolutely an example of a leader for our program, and he's going to be a guy we continue to keep up front.
Coach, you open with Eastern New Mexico. What do you expect from that game?
Yeah, I tell you what, we joke about it. We don't even talk about names of teams, and it's no offense to those guys we're competing against, but we worry about ourselves. And the biggest thing here, we've brought in a lot of transfer students, a lot of guys to try and up the talent level, but guys that can compete right away. Our freshman class is relatively small this year due to, one, the late start in terms of recruiting. We weren't able to get in on some of the top high school players, and we knew that we needed guys that can compete right away. So our biggest challenge right now is ourselves, is making sure that we come together as a football family, making sure we understand the strengths of each one of our players, and being able to compete here at practice, and then obviously take that onto the road to be able to really push ourselves to be the best players we can be. We do that right now with the faceless opponent. It doesn't matter who's across from us, about execution in terms of our assignments.
That is Eric Young, the head football coach at New Mexico Highlands University. For more on what's happening with RMAC football this week, let's head over to Chris Polton at the RMAC Sports Desk.
A full slate of RMAC football action for the first week of the season. Coach John Riston has his CSU Pueblo Thunderwolves at number 19 ranked West Texas A&M. Colorado Mesa University opens with their new name at home against Humboldt State out of California. Preseason favorite and 16th ranked Nebraska Kearney kicks their season off at Wayne State. The Wildcats have beaten the Loafers the last 2 seasons. Chadron State travels to Bismarck, North Dakota to take on the University of Mary. Those games are all on Thursday night. On Saturday, Western New Mexico hosts Sul Ross State. Western State plays in the Mountaineer Bowl against Angelo State. Fort Lewis opens at home against South Dakota Tech, and Colorado Mines travels to William Jewell College. On Saturday night, Adams State hits the road to Dixie State in St. George, Utah, and New Mexico Highlands plays at in-state rival Eastern New Mexico. 4 former RMAC players are in NFL camps this year. Mark Scheichel, a DN from Mines, is in camp with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Scheichel has 2 tackles in the preseason. Mason Brodeen, a fellow DN from Kearney, got an invite to Oakland Raider camp. Brodeen has 2 solo tackles and an assist for the Silver and Black. Rod Windsor, wideout from Western New Mexico, is playing for the Cleveland Browns. Windsor has 2 catches for a total of 28 yards. And then there's Danny Woodhead, the former Chadron State star, has started at running back for the New England Patriots this preseason. Woodhead has 14 carries for 108 yards, with 3 receptions going with 21 yards. I'm Chris Polton, and this has been your RMAC Football Update.
Thank you, Chris. When we come back, we're going to talk some RMAC volleyball with the head coach at Colorado Mines, Jamie Scadlin. You're listening to the RMAC Radio Show.